In the ancient kingdom of Ile Ife, when the sun burned out and the gods whispered secrets to those who listened, there lived a prince named Adewale. He was the second son of Adejare, the king. Adewale was handsome, with sharp eyes and a smile that could charm anyone. But inside, his heart was filled with fire, a fire of jealousy. His older brother, Prince Adetayo, was the heir to the throne. Adetayo was kind, wise, and loved by the people. Everywhere Adewale went, he heard praises for his brother. Adetayo will be a great king, the villagers said. He is fair and just. Adewale hated it. One evening, while walking near the river, Adewale saw a woman so beautiful, his breath caught in his throat. Her name was Amope. Her skin glowed like polished bronze, and her eyes held secrets. She was not a princess, but she carried herself like one. "You look troubled, my prince," Amope said, her voice smooth like honey. Adewale, who never trusted anyone, found himself telling her everything. His anger, his jealousy, his hunger for the throne. Amope smiled. Why should Adetayo rule when you are stronger, when you are smarter? Adewale had never heard anyone speak such words. It was like she had reached into his heart and pulled out his darkest thoughts. Days turned into weeks, and Adewale met Amope in secret. She was not just beautiful, she was cunning. She knew herbs that could make a man sick without killing him. She knew how to twist words to turn people against each other. "We must make your brother look weak," Amope whispered one night. "Then the people will turn to you." Adewale agreed. Together, they spread lies. They paid a corrupt priest to say the gods had spoken. If Adetayo becomes king, famine will destroy Ile Ife. The people were afraid. Even Adejare, old and sick, began to doubt. With the kingdom in fear, Adewale convinced his father to send Adetayo away. "Let him go to a neighboring kingdom for a year," he said. "If the gods are wrong, he can return." The Oba agreed. As Adetayo left the palace, an old woman, a seer, grabbed his arm. "Beware, prince," she said. "The throne your brother steals will eat him alive." Adetayo frowned, but said nothing. He rode away, not knowing when or if he would return. That night, Adewale and Amope stood on the palace walls, watching the torches flicker in the distance. "It begins," Amope said, her eyes shining with something dark. Adewale smiled. For the first time, he felt the thrill of power. He did not see the way Amope looked at him, like a hunter watching his prey. With Prince Adetayo gone, Adewale felt like the kingdom was finally his. But he was not king yet. His father, Adejare, still sat on the throne. Amope had a plan for that too. One evening, Amope slipped a strange powder into the Oba's palm wine. It was made from a rare root, one that brought weakness, not death. "Drink, great king," she said sweetly. "It will ease your pain." The Oba coughed but drank. Within days, he grew paler. His hands shook. The royal doctors could find no illness, but the king grew weaker each week. Adewale pretended to be sad. "Father, you must rest," he said, while secretly smiling. With the Oba sick, Adewale began making decisions for the kingdom. He called the chiefs to meeting. He gave orders to warriors. Some chiefs were loyal to Adetayo. They whispered, "Why is the prince acting like a king?" But Amope was always one step ahead. She visited the chiefs at night, sometimes with gifts, sometimes with threats. To Chief Olu, she brought gold. Support Adewale and you will be rewarded. To Chief Bamidele, she whispered, oppose him and your family will suffer. One by one, the chiefs bowed to Adewale. Only one chief refused, Chief Olumide, an old warrior who had served the Oba for 40 years. Adewale is not the true heir, Olumide shouted in the court. Adetayo was sent away by lies. Adewale's face turned dark with anger. That night, Olumide was found dead in his home, his throat slit. The next morning, Adewale announced, Chief Olumide was killed by thieves. We will punish them when found. No one believed him, but no one dared speak. As the dry season came, the Oba grew so weak he could not leave his bed. On the night of the new moon, he called Adewale to him. My son, the old king whispered, I see the darkness in your heart. The throne will bring you no joy. Adewale stiffened. Rest, father. Before dawn, the Oba was dead. Adewale moved quickly. He dressed in royal robes and called the people to the palace square. My father is gone, he announced, but Ile Ife must remain strong. As his eldest son in the kingdom, I will take the throne. The people murmured, where was Adetayo? Why was the prince being crowned so fast? But the chiefs, afraid or bribed, bowed. The priest who has been paid blessed them. As the crown was placed on his head, Adewale looked at Amope in the crowd. She smiled, but her eyes were cold. That night, as the drums celebrated the new king, an old beggar woman whispered near the palace gates, a snake sits on the throne, but even snakes can be eaten. No one listened. Adewale sat on the throne, wearing the heavy crown of Ile Ife. He had everything he wanted, power, riches, Amope by his side. But instead of feeling happy, he felt afraid. The first rains never came. Crops dried up in the fields. The people whispered, this is the curse that the seer spoke of. Adewale didn't care. He ordered his guards to take food from the villagers for the palace. Bring me the best yams, the fattest goats, he commanded. While the king feasted, children cried with empty bellies. Old men collapsed in the streets, but if anyone complained, they disappeared in the night. Amope became more powerful than ever. She wore gold from head to toe, and her laughter echoed through the palace halls. One day, a young girl accidentally spilled water on Amope's dress. Foolish rats, Amope screamed. She turned to the guards. Cut off her hand so she will remember. Adewale watched silently as the girl was dragged away. For the first time, he felt sick, but he said nothing. At night, Adewale began having terrible dreams. He saw his dead father pointing at him. You are no king. He saw Chief Olumide's bloody ghost. Murderer. Worst of all, he saw Adetayo riding toward the palace with an army of flames. Each morning, Adewale woke up sweating. He drank palm wine until his hands stopped shaking. One evening, Adewale went to Amope's chambers. Unannounced, through the curtain, he heard soft voices. Must be careful, Amope was saying. A deep voice replied, when the time comes, my warriors are ready. Adewale pushed the curtain aside and saw Amope in the arms of Balogun, his most trusted general. Amope didn't even look ashamed. "My king," she said smoothly, "we were just discussing security matters." Balogun bowed, but his eyes were mocking. Adewale's face turned purple with anger. "Get out," he growled at Balogun. When they were alone, Amope touched Adewale's arm. "Why so angry? You know I love only you." But Adewale wasn't listening. That night, he stared at his dagger for hours, thinking terrible thoughts. Meanwhile, in a faraway forest, Adetayo received news from a tired messenger. "The king is dead. Your brother rules. The people suffer." Adetayo clenched his fist. "Prepare my horse. We ride for Ile Ife at dawn." The palace no longer felt like home to Adewale. Everywhere he looked, he imagined Amope whispering with Balogun. Every smile from his chiefs felt like a lie. He couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. Only one thought burned in his mind: I must kill Balogun. One rainy morning, Adewale called his most loyal guard. "Tell General Balogun I need him to lead warriors to the northern borders. Tell him rebels have been seen there." It was a perfect plan. The northern forests were dangerous, full of wild animals and deep rivers. Accidents happened often, but Amope was no fool. That same night, Balogun slipped into Amope's chambers through a hidden passage. "The king sends me to north tomorrow," he said. Amope's eyes turned sharp like a leopard's. "Fool! Can't you see? This is a death mission." She grabbed his arm. "You must leave tonight. Take your loyal men and go to the eastern hills." Balogun hesitated. "And you?" A wicked smile touched Amope's lips. "I have my own plans." At dawn, chaos erupted. Balogun was gone, and with him, 50 of the kingdom's best warriors. Worse, the royal treasure room stood half empty. Gold, jewels, even the sacred crown of past Obas, all gone. Adewale roared like a wounded lion. "Amope!" But when the guards rushed to her chambers, they found only a note scratched on a clay tablet. "A throne built on lies cannot stand. You should have trusted me." That evening, as Adewale sat alone in his empty palace, an old Babalawo came uninvited. "The queen paid me well before she left," the priest said. "She asked me to give you a message." He threw a handful of dust into the air. It formed terrible shapes: a crumbling throne, a bleeding crown, Amope laughing. The priest spoke words that made Adewale blood freeze. "The crown will slip away from your head like water. The people will cheer as you fall. This is the word of the gods." Far away, Adetayo marched with an army of rebels, their torches lighting up the night. And in the silent palace, Adewale finally understood he has already lost. The night smelled of smoke and coming rain. In his palace, Adewale sat on his golden stool, but it no longer felt like a throne. It felt like a trap. At sunset, the first shouts came from the city gates. "Adetayo has returned! The true king is here!" The Adewale's guards came running, their faces white with fear. "My king, the people, they are opening their gates for Prince Adetayo. They are throwing stones at our men." Adewale grabbed his sword. "Then kill them! Kill them all!" But even as he spoke, he heard the terrible sound of his own palace guards dropping their weapons and running. Alone in the courtyard, Adewale faced his brother for the first time in years. Adetayo looked different. older, harder, his eyes full of sorrow rather than anger. "Brother," Adetayo said, "he didn't have to be like this. It didn't have to be this way." Adewale spat on the ground. "I am king. The gods chose me." Behind Adetayo stood hundreds, farmers with machetes, women with kitchen knives, even children throwing rocks. The whole kingdom had come to see him fall. Adewale made a terrible sound, not a king's roar, but a wounded animal's cry. Adetayo stepped forward. "Adewale, son of Adejare, for your crimes against our father and our people." But Adewale wasn't listening. With a sudden move, he raised his sword, not to fight, but to take his own life. Adetayo was faster. He knocked the blade away. "No, you will live. You will see the kingdom heal without you." As the guards dragged Adewale away, the first rains began to fall. Soft at first, then pouring as if the sky itself was washing Ile Ife clean. Adetayo became king, ruling with wisdom his brother never had. The famine ended. The people prospered. Adewale lived the rest of his days in a small hut outside the city, watched by guards. Amope and Balogun were never seen in Ile Ife again, but traders told stories of a beautiful cruel queen ruling a faraway land, always looking over her shoulder. And so the tale is told to this day. Power taken by wickedness is power already lost.